Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is still on its way towards these lower price targets as revealed by this chart and this Bitcoin chart showing a lot of liquidity building to the downside. And on top of that, we just saw the worst day in history for the spot Bitcoin ETFs, while Ethereum is continuing to break to the downside alongside Solana continuing this break towards the downside, while the price of XRP is right now starting to break below this important area of support, while the price of Chainlink is now running into the most important area of support. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just before taking a look at the Bitcoin charts today, we need to talk about the Bitcoin news today, because that is right, we just saw the worst day in history for the spot Bitcoin ETFs. We saw a net outflow on Tuesday of over 1.1 billion US dollars. We're talking about around 1,138 million US dollars leaving the spot Bitcoin ETFs just on Tuesday in one single trading day. And this comes after that massive net outflow that we also saw on Monday, which was over $500 million US dollars. So in just 2 days, we saw well over $1.5 billion, getting close to $2 billion of outflows in just 2 days. And so this basically tells us that a lot of people are pulling their money out of the Bitcoin ETFs, which is forcing these ETF providers like BlackRock and Fidelity, for example, they're having to actually dump Bitcoin on the market in order to pay out all of these outflows in US dollars. And so obviously this is not helping the price of Bitcoin in the short term. This is potentially one of many reasons as to why we're seeing a dump in the price of Bitcoin, especially over the last few days here, due to the fact that Wall Street is dumping not only millions, but now billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin on the market. And if we're taking a look at the US stock market just quickly here on the 4-hour time frame, this is the Nasdaq 100 index, and we can clearly see that over the last few days here, we have seen quite a dump in the US stock market. And as I said in my last video, usually when the US stock market dumps, that also correlates over to crypto. So if stocks are crashing, expect basically a dump in the price of most cryptos out there, and vice versa. When the stock market is booming, usually crypto does pretty well during those bullish times as well. And so we're simply at a stage in the market with the stock market dumping, and we're seeing huge sell pressure from the Bitcoin ETFs, which is obviously not helping crypto at all. And we're simply just having a lot of bearish forces on the market at the moment. And if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin charts today on the 4-day time frame, this super trend indicator is getting extremely close to actually flipping back into the red, as in we're basically less than $1,000 from actually flipping this back into the red, because we need to see a confirmed break below around 82 to 83,000. And if that happens, then like I just said, this will flip into the red, and usually that means a larger bearish trend is beginning. And now obviously we saw somewhat of a false signal just last year in this indicator, but with that being said, when this flipped into the red, we still continue to see a little bit more bearish price action over the next few weeks, and we didn't really see a lot of bullish price action until at least a couple of months after that bearish signal actually confirmed on this indicator. But most of the time, this indicator is very accurate, as we can see. So if we flip back into the red, that would be a strong bearish signal based on this chart. But of course, we've already seen some bearish signals confirm over the last few weeks and months. For example, this bearish crossover in the weekly Bitcoin MACD, which actually confirmed close to a month ago now, around 3 to 4 weeks ago. And obviously, when that was actually happening back then, close to a month ago, I was covering that here on the channel, saying that we're seeing a bearish crossover in this indicator, and the last couple of times that happened, we either saw a dump in the price of Bitcoin or actually more of a bearish trend in the price of Bitcoin, either over the next few weeks or months. And now, of course, back around a month ago, we were lacking momentum in the shorter term at that stage in the market. So we did see a lot of just sideways price action in the shorter term, but we are currently gaining in bearish momentum, as we could see in the MACD indicator. And so we're simply just repeating the same sort of signal that we saw these last couple of times, ultimately causing a lot of bearish price action, either once again a correction or more of a bearish trend. So keep that in mind. These are likely outcomes comes over the next few weeks or months. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, we still have a massive bearish divergence on the weekly time frame, with higher highs already confirmed in the price and lower highs already confirmed in the weekly Bitcoin RSI. Once again, as I've already been saying for a long time now on the channel, this means that we're losing a lot of bullish momentum. We're slowing down in the bull market here. And especially more recently, we've actually gained a lot of bearish momentum. So ultimately, I would not expect a quick recovery in the price of Bitcoin, at least over the next few days or weeks. In order to perhaps see a recovery in the price, that would honestly at this point likely take a number of months. And now, of course, we can see short-term bounces here and there pretty much every few days or so. I'm not saying it's just going to be a straight line down and then a straight line up in a few months from now. Obviously, that's very unlikely. And so a much more likely scenario is honestly price action similar to this, basically what we saw around mid-2024, where we're basically trending more in the bearish direction for a little while, but we are seeing the occasional bounce back to the upside here and there. So it's not 100% only bearish price action, but we're not necessarily recovering all the way back up towards the highs, at least perhaps for a few months. Once again, we just have to be patient here. And now, obviously, not everyone likes to hear that, but I'm just being realistic. I'm setting realistic expectations so that in 1 or 2 months from now, you're not wondering why the price of Bitcoin is not at new all-time highs, because everyone else has been telling you that the price is about to just pump back up to new all-time highs. We have to be realistic with our expectations. But of course, you can profit from bearish price action using things like short positions, for example, or if you simply just want to get set up ready to go to take the next trading opportunity in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto. Personally, I'm starting to take more of my trades over on 2bit, so I'll make sure to leave a link to 2bit below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can get some massive trading bonuses only using that link, like for example a brand new Mercedes-Benz or $50,000 simply just by trading crypto using that link. So especially for the larger traders out there, definitely check it out. Once again, first link below this video. And for the smaller traders out there, if you're not trading these large amounts, you can also get some decent bonuses over here, like for example a $30 bonus just simply for signing up using that link. And then you can also get a 20% deposit rebate up to a max of 200 USDT. So for example, if you deposit $1,000, you get a $200 bonus straight into your new account, but only if you use that link. And on top of all of that, if you use the link below this video to 2bit, you get automatically upgraded to VIP level 1 trading fees, which basically means you get a massive discount on trading fees. You get lowered trading fees using that link. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video. And in case you're wondering, 2bit is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But for whatever reason, if you don't want 2bit, there is also Bitfinex as another exchange out there, another option that I also trade on. So I will also make sure to leave a link to Bitfinex below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And also, in case you're wondering, Bitfinex is a no KYC exchange as well, and also has some massive trading rewards that are available using that link. But with that being said, taking a look at this Bitcoin price chart on the 3-day time frame, and like I mentioned in my last video, we already just saw a major breakdown in the price structure, breaking below a key level which was sitting at around 91 to 92k. And so the price of Bitcoin has now clearly entered into a gap in traded volume, because if we're looking at this indicator right here, this is the VPVI indicator, or the volume profile indicator, and we could see that in the range in between around 73,000 to around 91,000, we have almost no traded volume, as you can see. And that's simply due to the fact that when the price of Bitcoin was previously in this price range, we just quickly and immediately went straight towards the upside without seeing any sort of pullbacks or retests, or basically finding support in this area. And so at that time, obviously that was a great feeling, just going straight towards the upside, but that can be unhealthy for the price of Bitcoin, because when it comes to the fact that we're actually going in the opposite direction direction now, we have basically no support in this region, no strong support at least. Once again, we may see slight little bounces here and there, but we don't really have any significant support in this entire price range because we have no traded volume, or next to no trading volume. And so the next significant area of traded volume in the VPVI indicator is starting at around 70 to 71,000, and also based on previous resistance, I would expect a lot of support at around 70 to 74,000. So basically in the lower 70k range, that is the next major price target and the next significant area of support for the price of Bitcoin. But if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, like I said in my last video, we have just entered into oversold territories in the daily Bitcoin RSI for the first time in over 200 days. The last time we confirmed this signal in the daily Bitcoin RSI was around August last year. And of course, what came next was a bit of a short-term bounce. So just keep that in mind. I'm not saying we're going to see just a straight line towards the downside, towards this lower price target. So just be aware of the fact that yes, we can perhaps see a slight little bullish relief or some choppy sideways price action in order to reset this RSI out of oversold territories at some point in the next few days. Most likely within the next 1 week, we will see finally a bit of a break from all of this bearish price action. And so that may end up just being a bit of a halfway stopping point before ultimately the continuation towards these lower price targets in order just to reset this RSI towards more neutral levels, giving us more room towards the downside later on. And if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we have massive liquidity starting to build below the price of Bitcoin, sitting in between around 71,000 to 74,000 approximately. So that is the major price target, because in case you're new to all of this, usually, not always, but usually the price of Bitcoin tends to move towards where there's a lot of liquidity. And right now, the main area is building at around that lower 70k range, exactly where the next significant amount of traded volume is also sitting at. And so we have three independent sources of information pointing towards the lower 70k range. The first point of information is, of course, previous significant resistance becoming new support. The second source of information is the volume profile indicator pointing towards the lower 70k area. And of course, the massive amount of liquidity as the third source of information pointing towards the lower 70k area. But as always, there's no such thing as a 100% guarantee. So we're not guaranteed to actually hit those prices. It's just very likely that at some point, perhaps in the next 1 or 2 months, we'll likely see the price trading around there with perhaps some sort of stop off point along the way to reset the RSI. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame, obviously the price of ETH is experiencing a major break below this very important line of support, which is a very strong bearish signal on the weekly time frame, a massive change in price structure. And now, technically speaking, this still needs to be confirmed with a weekly candle close below this line of support, but at this stage, it's almost guaranteed. It's very, very likely that we will see this weekly candle close actually confirm below this support, because the next weekly candle close confirms in around 4 days from now, and this support line is sitting at above 2.6k. But when it comes to other levels of support to pay attention to, now that the price is trading well below that line of support, we have important horizontal support. First of all, based on these previous lows sitting at around 2.3k, and we also have the all-important golden pocket area of support, probably the most important area of support as of right now, sitting in between around 2150 to 2.2k. And now, if we were to see a confirmed break with candle closes below 2150, and especially below 2.1k, in that case, we'll likely see a drop down towards around just above 1.8k. And as for resistance, I'll now expect a lot of resistance at closer towards around 2,500. And of course, we still have significant resistance at around 2.8k. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the weekly time frame, Solana is continuing the break towards the downside from this bearish rising wedge pattern. And so as I've already been saying over the last few days, we have a technical price target for this break towards the downside here, sitting at around $90 per Solana, 90. So from where we are right now, as of recording this video, that's still around a 33 to 34% move towards the downside. But from when I started to talk about that price target, that was over a 40% move towards the downside. And so obviously, if you watched either of my videos over the last 2 days here on the channel talking about this bearish price target, and if you simply just shorted the price of Solana or took some sort of short position here at these higher prices when I was making those last 2 videos over the last 2 days, obviously you should be making some decent profits as of right now in that short position if you're taking this trading opportunity. But as I also covered over the last couple of days, I would expect a lot of support around here based on these previous lows sitting at around $120 to $130 approximately. And so just be aware of the fact that it is quite likely we could see a bit of a bounce from that area in the shorter term. That could be potentially preventing the price from hitting that price target, but especially if we start breaking below around 120, in that case, it's very likely we'll just continue down below $100 per Solana. And if we're taking a look at the daily time frame right now in the shorter term, we're running into a bit of short-term support based on these previous lows sitting in between around 133 to 139, and we also have this area of support in between around 123 to 125. And clearly the shorter term trend and momentum, as I've been saying for quite a while now on the channel, is simply bearish. We're breaking below multiple points of support, not really seeing any breakouts above resistance, and we're clearly forming lower highs and lower lows, which is all bearish price structure. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the daily time frame, XRP is now attempting a break below this area of support sitting in between around $2.25 to $2.30. And now, technically speaking, despite yesterday's dump below that area, we did not actually confirm a daily candle close below that area, below $2.25. So we're right now actually getting close to actually confirming this break towards the downside. But if this confirms, the next major point of support is sitting in between $1.95 to $2.05. And we did already bounce from very close to $2.05, confirming that as a major point of support. And if we actually see a daily candle close confirm below around $2.25, then I would now expect that previous area of support to become new resistance. And of course, we have significant resistance still sitting in between $2.65 to $2.80. And in terms of the price structure here, technically speaking, we're simply looking bearish, forming lower highs and lower lows, and also playing out a massive bearish divergence right now for the price of XRP. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, as of recording this video, Chainlink is running into the most important area of support, which is the golden pocket area of support sitting in between around $14.90 to $15.50. And at least over the last 1 day or so, we have found at least some short-term support in this area. But if this area of support fails, if it cannot hold the price in the shorter term, and instead we actually see, for example, a daily candle close below $14.90, in that case, honestly, we would likely see a continued pullback down towards this 78.6% Fibonacci level of support sitting at around $12.80. So we would likely see the price dip below $13 if we first confirm a break below $14.90. And if we broke below around $12.80, the next major support would be sitting at around $10. And so once again, for now, this is very important support to pay attention to in between $14.90 to $15.50. And if we were to see any sort of bounce here, of course, we still have significant resistance at around $17.50 to $18 approximately, based on previous support becoming new resistance. And in terms of the larger price structure, we are clearly bearish as of right now. As I've been saying for quite a while now on the channel, the larger trend is simply bearish, forming lower highs and lower lows, breaking below support and rejecting from resistance. But remember, you can still profit during bearish price action using things like short positions, for example, to profit along the way towards the downside. Or as a spot trader, you can simply just wait for lower prices to accumulate cheaper crypto assets for an eventual recovery later on. And once again, if you want to trade any of those moves in the price of any crypto, check out the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, you can profit from all of that price action by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.